What's going on, guys? I know it's been a while since I made a video. Been 12, 13 days. So definitely over a week for sure. Maybe even 2 weeks, if I'm being honest. Yeah, the last video I made was probably back on Thanksgiving when I did my video on our victory against the Giants. But, hey, having two jobs and working that type of those hours, can definitely kind of take a little bit of a toll on you, and you feel like you don't really want to record anything. And then lately, because of getting something new in my room's a bit of a disaster, so that's why I'm sitting down here doing this video when it's just me and me alone for right now. But anyways, yeah, I've just been focusing on saving up money, possibly getting a place. In fact, I'm meeting somebody next week to maybe look at an apartment or two. But, that could be for another video at some point in the future. But anyways, I'm going to get into the Cowboys' victory against the Indianapolis Colts. So, woo! How about them Cowboys, baby? 54-19 against the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, I know the Colts are not exactly the greatest team, but they're not a horrible team because they have played teams pretty close. They played Philly and Washington for the most part pretty close. In fact, Colts were leading the Eagles. They were leading the Eagles at one point. Of course, Colts couldn't maintain the lead for long. And we were up by 2 points. It was 21-19. They failed to make the 2-point conversion. But after us getting that touchdown, we just basically pulled away in the fourth quarter, and it was a total domination. 33 points. That's the most the Cowboys ever had in quite some time or ever before. So, hallelujah. Where to start off? As long as Dak doesn't, try to force the ball, he is definitely on his game. He threw for 3 touchdown passes. 2 of them were to Gallup. One was to CeeDee Lamb, where I couldn't believe that the guy didn't quite tackle him, and he was able to get back up and run for that touchdown. So that was something else. And CeeDee's actually been having some pretty decent games lately. He's been looking like a decent number one. I don't know if I fully trust him to be the true number one. I feel like we still need another receiver, and Gallup's been doing a good job. He's been getting some confidence back, after being away for a while and that ACL injury. Schultz had his catches, I think. And the line, other than the one sack, did its job effectively. So I can't complain about that. And for Kellen, for these past... For this game, it wasn't perfect, but it was almost close to being perfect. So I got to give Kellen some credit. He called a much better game where Tony Pollard had 91 yards, Zeke had over 77 yards. They each had a touchdown. The offense, did a good job. That first series, I didn't know what to expect because we went 3 and out. And then the defense, 3 interceptions, a forced fumble, actually 2 forced fumbles. So basically that's 5 turnovers, 3 sacks. Hell of a job, defense. But yeah, it's a great victory all around. And yeah, maybe the Colts weren't exactly the best team, nor even a good team. But like I said, they played teams pretty tough and close. I mean, they did that with the Eagles and the Washington. They may do so with the Giants, though. Who really knows? Giants might knock them out, too, for all I know. But yeah, definitely a great victory for Prescott, for Mike McCarthy. We're 9-3. Definitely things are looking up. Speaking of Malik Cooper, he had the game of his life. He had an interception that really swung the momentum back after it looked like Matt Ryan, and then we're going to drive for at least a field goal if we were lucky. And then, that interception pretty much changed the course, or at least temporarily, for the game. And then we got a touchdown, to Gallup, leading 21-13. And then Deron Bland, of all things, who was having an okay season for the most part. He definitely had his bad game in the Packers, but this was definitely one of his best games, I would say, so far. He was quite a find in the 5th round, so having 2 interceptions against Matt Ryan, hey, that's one way to kind of get your confidence up. And Joseph came in. I know he didn't exactly do the greatest at first because he allowed that one touchdown that made it very close. But it was, when you look at it, it wasn't horrible coverage. He was doing what he could. And then after that, it seemed like Joseph played much better. In fact, he almost had an interception at one point too. So I got to give credit to where credit's due. Joseph seemed to play much better after that. I mean, because after those points, those 19 points, the Colts never scored again. We pretty much shut them out. And that was fucking awesome. So, no, I'm sounding all over the place, but that was a hell of a team win against a tough opponent that's quite underrated. And not to mention the Colts defense isn't terrible. I mean, they do have the ability to kind of, be playing tough, especially on the D-line. And Stephen Gilmore, still in his 30s, he's still an effective corner because he had that pick, even though I felt like he kind of somewhat interfered with Gallup. But then again, Gallup could have run a much better route than what we saw that led to that pick. But anyway, you slice it. The Colts defense is not the worst. I mean, they've allowed maybe 17, 20 something points at most. So they do play opponents pretty tough. You can't deny them of that. But I think this is the most points they have allowed this entire season. So us blowing them out, pretty much proved a point that we're definitely a good team, and we cannot take anyone lightly. And that's going to be the factor coming into this weekend against the Houston Texans. Sure, they have one win, but you know what? Because it's Houston and, it's interstate, rivalries, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans are going to play us tough. Yeah, I know that what is his name? Davis Mills, he's going to be their starting quarterback for the Texans. They have a good running back, from what I understand. They drafted that Derek Stingley guy, and from what I checked, I mean, he's had some okay stats, but he's had one interception and 5 pass deflections. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans do play us tough for a bit, and then we start, doing our thing and we pull away. And if anything, if we're going to have a convincing win over the Texans, Dak needs to play a clean game. No interceptions. Hit your guys right in stride, whether that's Lamb, Gallup, Noah Brown, or whoever, Schultz. And, if Houston can't defend the run, then you fucking run with Pollard and Zeke. That's your very key. If Kellen Moore can recognize the fact that Houston is not very good at stopping the run, that's your key component right there, Kellen Moore. Stick with that running game. You keep running and grinding with Pollard and Zeke, and no team can stop us. And like I said, Dak plays a clean game, no turnovers, no interceptions. We should win convincingly, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans were going to play us tough because it's that type of game. Houston's going to be wanting to pull an upset and prove something as well, so don't be surprised for at least a quarter or two that they start playing us tough. So there you go. But as that, how about them Cowboys? We're 9-3. This is definitely going to be a very interesting December. Hopefully we win all these games and prove that we're definitely a playoff contender, Super Bowl contender, and not one and done in the playoffs. So that's what I'm hoping for. Let's get this victory. Let's get more victories after this. I want to see this team just advance as far as it can go and prove that it's a legitimately, profound contender. That's what I want to see. So that's going to do it for me because I got to do another video on some Blu-rays that I bought back on Black Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'll see you in the next video. And once again, how about them Cowboys? Let's keep winning, motherfuckers. Peace.